Banks such as JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and Citibank get together to sue the Federal Reserve. The Securities Exchange Commission, known as the SEC, delays BlackRock's spot Ethereum ETF. And the last thing that we're going to be going over, and probably biggest piece of news, is we finally have an update in the Ripple versus the SEC case. So make sure you guys tune in all the way to the end of this video to find out all the details. Hey guys, it's Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning in to my channel. If you guys could do a couple of things for me, if you guys can go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already, click the bell notification down below so YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. If you guys could share my videos and share my channel with anyone, I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can. I definitely need your guys' help in doing so. On my channel, we talk about anything that impacts financial markets. This is going to include anything political right now, especially because we're in an election year, stock markets, and then the most important thing that we go over in my channel is cryptocurrency. It's the thing that I'm most passionate about. Getting started right now, today's going to be Saturday, February 3rd. The total market cap for all cryptocurrency right now is $1.64 trillion. This is a 0.75% decrease on the day today. So earlier in the week, we were roughly about a $1.5 trillion market cap, so we're doing a little bit better. But at the beginning of the year in 2024, we were roughly about a $1.75 trillion. So we're kind of right in the middle of the high and the low right now. Markets can go anywhere at the moment, in my opinion. And again, don't take anything as financial advice. Make sure you guys do your guys' own independent research. Fear and Greed Index right now, we are at a 56, so we're neutral. Bitcoin right now is currently trading at $42,936. Ethereum, $2,297. And XRP right now at 51.59 cents. Getting into our biggest gainers and losers, Flare is going to be our biggest gainer, up 9.6%. PYTH is going to be up 4.6, and then SUI is going to be up 3.5. Biggest losers on the day today, we got Manta down 10.2%. SATS is going to be down 9.5%. And then we have EHEX and then APT both down 6.4%. Right now, I want to take a moment of silence. So earlier this week, unfortunately, we had 3 service members who were killed in the line of duty. So I want to take a moment of silence for Sergeant William Jerome Rivers, Specialist Kennedy Layden Sanders, and then Specialist Brianna Alexandria Muffet. So if you guys could just take a moment of silence, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. I wanted to pray for those individuals. And I wanted to read a statement that was released by former President Trump. I'm only going to read the top portion because the bottom part gets a little bit political and I don't want to say anything right now, especially with what happened. But he says that the drone attack on a U.S. military installation in Jordan, killing 3 American service members and wounding many more, roughly about 38 were wounded, marks a horrible day for America. My most profound sympathies go towards the families of the brave service members we have lost. I ask all Americans to join me in praying for those who have been wounded. And that's where I'm going to stop. If you guys want to read any of this or anything else that goes on, everything else is going to be down in the comments. But moving on to what we're going to be going over, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has released a statement outlining states' rights to constitutional self-defense when dealing with a lawless president. So James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and other visionaries who wrote the U.S. Constitution foresaw that states should not be left to the mercy of a lawless president who does nothing to stop external threats like cartels smuggling millions of illegal immigrants across the border. So right now, there's a bunch of states, roughly about 28 states right now, who have joined Texas in kind of their stance on protecting the border and the border of essentially the United States, not just of the border of Texas. But we have too many people coming into the United States, a lot of military-aged people who are coming in undocumented. We need to upgrade our documentation status, in my opinion. So we're pro-immigration, but we need to have pro-legal immigration and not illegal immigration. So we need to figure that out so we can have more people coming into the United States, but it needs to be legally. So we have to change a bunch of stuff. But right now, Texas is trying to do their best right now to basically protect their borders, protect Texas citizens. The Supreme Court ended up dealing a blow to Texas. They ended up siding with the Biden administration. And then right now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott actually is defining what the Supreme Court said. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens with this. Arizona GOP chair Jeff DeWitt resigns after leaked audio reveals he tried bribing Kari Lake into not running for the Senate. So if you guys want to, you guys can listen to this. It's about 5 minutes and 57 seconds. And he jokes with Kari Lake, one of her people on staff ends up calling her and saying, hey, we have this person overseas or in the country that has a lot of money. They basically want to pay you a bunch of millions of dollars to not run for the Senate. And she's like, well, it's not about the money. It's about me running for Senate, being there for the American people. So take it what you guys will. If you guys think that she should have taken the money or not taken the money, I'm pro right now, Carrie Lake, because she didn't get bribed into doing this. And then she also released, or it seems like she released it because who else would have? But the audio of her basically saying that she's not going to be taking any bribes and she wants to basically do everything the fair way. And not do what a lot of people in Congress right now are doing by taking a lot of these bribes. We see a lot of these Congress members, women and men, both receiving millions of dollars while they're in office and then out of office. China's biggest developer goes bust, 300 billion debt for ghost towns. So HK court ordered Evergrade's liquidation. So this could impact major markets in China, which would impact the rest of the world because China has a lot of money that affects all economies, even here in the United States. So I wanted to bring this up to you guys' attention. But these ghost towns are going to be left abandoned. Hopefully, another developer can kind of come in and figure this out. So we'll see what happens with this, but unfortunately, they're going to have to liquidate the new largest cruise ship in the world. This thing looks kind of sweet. I'm going to play this little video. No sound because I don't know if you guys can hear anything, but this cruise ship is going to be the biggest cruise ship, and it just at sale earlier this week. For me, I would never get on this thing. I've seen the Titanic, but I know that they're a lot more sturdy now. But if you've seen how many lifeboats are on this thing, it does not seem like there's enough to capture all these individuals. And then also the boat's really huge. If anything happens, you're not getting out of it. So I won't be partaking. Tesla plans to build a new EV model in mid 2025. And there's a lot of people right now, like Kathy Wood and several other individuals right now, that are raising Tesla's predicted stock price and saying that it's going to go up higher. And this could be part of the reason. The code name is going to be Redwood. Are you guys pro EV vehicles? It's kind of interesting. We'll see what happens with Tesla. But Justin, so this is what we talked about. Chase, so JP Morgan, Citibank, and Goldman Sachs drafting landmark lawsuit against the Federal Reserve. And in this, the government says banks would have to hold about 20% more capital, a buffer they'd be built up by stocking away profits that might otherwise go to shareholders, employees, or acquisitions. The bank says that those numbers are off and have produced their own analyst that puts the added on closer to about 30%. So they're going to have to keep all this money as reserves. And right now, the Federal Reserve is basically trying to put this into law. And the banks don't want this to go in, so that's why they're suing it. But the Fed wants this because we saw a lot of banks close in the previous year. They all, fell short. Three of the 10 largest banks in the United States failed. And with this, it's basically they failed because a lot of people went into the banks, tried to get their money out, but the money was tied up in loans, other business aspects. And then also, I'm pretty sure banks buy stocks and stuff like that. So they couldn't basically pay off their customers. And what happened was the Federal Reserve had to come in and all the banks pay an insurance rate, and that's why anyone who has their money in big banks up to $250,000 is backed by the federal government. Anything over that isn't. But all the banks that had people who had accounts over that $250,000, the Fed came in and said, you know what? We can't have this many people lose money. The federal government's going to come in. So at the expense of the tax dollars came in and reserved and helped those individuals out. So in my opinion, we shouldn't be having to pay off the debts by banks mismanaging funds and then also paying millions and millions of dollars to their uh, higher ups in those banks right before they were about to close. So they knew they were going to close, pay their people these nice bonuses, and then they close their bank saying, unfortunately, we don't have any more money. Well, you just paid all of your guys' staff a huge bonus, which is kind of, in my opinion, ridiculous, and that needs to be fixed. So Google updates policy allowing Bitcoin and crypto trust products to be advertised. So do you guys think that this is appropriate? There was a lot of controversy going on, especially with the whole FTX scandal when they had rights to a bunch of stadiums and advertisements online and also TV shows and stuff like that, commercials. But now Google's saying, you know what, we're going to allow it because of the ETF. So we're going to see a lot more advertising. We saw Blackrock and several other places, and I think Fidelity was another one that is right now running ads currently on Google and then also X. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon says U.S. economy is speeding towards a cliff as debt continues to mount. So the U.S. debt continues to keep on going and going and going, but banks love this because JP Morgan banked about $49.6 billion in profits last year, yet says the debt's going to keep on getting out of control, and then we're going going to go into a cliff. And then if people need money, where are they going to go to? They're going to go to these big banks to borrow money in hopes to keep their houses and stuff. BlackRock now holds 52.025 Bitcoin, worth over 2.8 billion for their spot Bitcoin ETF. So I think it's more than 52. But with this though, the reason why the difference between a spot Bitcoin ETF and then also you owning the actual token is basically like if a futures is if you own the spot. So BlackRock has to actually hold the coin in one of their accounts. So you would go into BlackRock, essentially buy the ETF, the stock price, and which makes it a security. And BlackRock has to hold that Bitcoin token in their reserve, so they have a cold storage or a hot storage wallet, and it's there. But if you hold a futures ETF, they don't actually have to have that cash on hand. They don't actually have to have that token, so it's a little more risky, and that's why it's considered not a security. But the security makes it where you actually have to hold that token, so it's a little bit different. This makes it easier for like your grandparents or your parents to actually come in and buy cryptocurrency. Going in the traditional route through like Coinbase and stuff like that can be a little bit more confusing. So this gate basically adds, my opinion, more people into the markets, and this is why I think that more people are going to get into cryptocurrency. So I see this as a benefit. We'll see Ethereum spot ETFs. We'll see spot XRP ETFs, in my opinion, in the near future. Only time's going to tell what other ones, and in my opinion, is going to cause the price of cryptocurrencies to rise. U.S. national debt reaches new all-time high. We have reached $34.1 trillion. This is horrible, in my opinion. We keep on mounting our debt, and the government comes out and says, well, we need to keep on funding our government, so we need to come out with another loan to take care of the government debt that we have because we have to pay the employees. So what do? They borrow more money, cost us more. I think roughly we go about $200 billion or $200 million in debt every hour. It's completely ridiculous how much money our government spending. And we have a president right now in administration that says they keep on reducing the deficit, except the 34.1 is going to go up to about 35 trillion or even more, in my opinion, by the end of this year. We'll see what happens, though, but we're not actually reducing the deficit. When he says we're reducing the deficit, he basically comes out with a plan, says we're going to spend this much money. But if he only spends this much money, he reduced the deficit. We still went up by this much. We didn't meet his target. We kept it down here, but our debt still increases. So in my opinion, it's completely ridiculous and kind of just a play on words. It's simple. John Deaton says, if crypto stays here, Coinbase is no brainer for the long term. And in my opinion, he's talking about stock market. If we can finally have some clear common sense laws on cryptocurrency in the United States, obviously Coinbase, which is considered a security, so they actually have a stock, they IPO'd. The Securities Exchange Commission, known as the SEC, came out and agreed, yes, we like your business model. We agree for you to become a publicly traded company. Yet they came back and sued them for selling the tokens that they already knew about. Makes zero sense to me. But again, if the Congress can come together and come up with some clear laws and rules on cryptocurrency, in my opinion, Coinbase is a great buy. Again, no financial advice. Bitwise, so announcement. So today, Bitwise Bitcoin ETF becomes the first US Bitcoin ETF to publish their Bitcoin address of its holdings. So you guys can actually copy and paste this address right here, and you can actually see how many tokens of Bitcoin are live on this address. So this actually makes them accountable. So a lot of companies say like, oh, we hold reserves. Well, how many reserves do you have? Well, we're not going to come out and tell you. Well, you guys can actually track everything on the blockchain. So if you have anyone's address, you can track how much money's gone in, how much money's gone out, and how much money the current wallet is actually holding, which makes it a little bit easier when a lot of shady stuff goes on because everything can be tracked. So if somebody steals some money of cryptocurrency, like you get hacked, you can easily track where it's gone. When it hits an exchange, the exchange can block the transaction, or the exchange can figure out who the transaction went through, and then what bank the money got sent to identify the person. So it's a lot harder for shady stuff to go on. So when we have Senator Elizabeth Warren coming out saying that it's used for fraud and stuff like that, it's actually not true. Fiat currency it's harder to track, in my opinion. And also the Treasury agrees with it if you go on their website. Hedera, low predictable fees, fixed enforceable royalties, trusted responsible governance. Hedera does things different. In my opinion, I think Hedera is going to do great things in this next bull market. Roughly into 2024, mid to late 2024 to late 2025 is when the next bull market is going to be coming through fruition. This is what a lot of analysts have predicted. And then also, if you guys want to, make sure you guys follow some big cryptocurrency projects and then see where the momentum goes. But just follow anything after any halvening cycle on Bitcoin, which happens every 4 years. Roughly about 6 months after that halvening cycle, Bitcoin goes up. The cryptocurrency market, like the altcoins, anything other than Bitcoin, tends to follow a little bit, but not as much. Then when Bitcoin tops, the rest of the market starts to rip. And then when Bitcoin falls, the rest of the market slowly falls. When Bitcoin bottoms out, the rest of the market falls. And in my opinion, that's going to happen roughly November, December of 2025 is when the crash is going to happen. And again, look at the charts and you guys will see it happens time and time again every halvening cycle. So the SEC has delayed making a decision on BlackRock's Ethereum ETF. So they kind of delayed this. Are we going to have some deja vu, is what Eleanor Charette comes out and says. So are we going to have another court battle to figure out if we can actually have Ethereum be a ETF, which makes it a security? We had Gary Gensler testify in front of Congress stating that he can't determine if Ethereum is considered a security or not. Yet it's the number 2 cryptocurrency by market cap. So Bitcoin, he says, wasn't a security, but says Ethereum, maybe, I don't know. So it's kind of, in my opinion, completely ridiculous. How are you trying to regulate cryptocurrency? Clear laws and rules on the books already for the SEC, but you can't say yes or no if Ethereum, the number 2 cryptocurrency by market cap, is a security or a commodity. Completely ridiculous. Now, Tandem, we're about to integrate XFin into our Tandem wallet. I wanted to kind of show this. Tandem, don't really know much about them, but XDC or XFin network. XDC is the token on the XFin network. This is kind of great in my opinion. We'll see what happens with this, but I wanted to integrate and put this in because I do like the XDC token. David Schwartz just mentioned how he deals with people spreading false information in the XRP community. So in this, he says, and I'm going to be honest, if somebody is saying something that seems wrong to me, but I don't really know, like if someone says, hey, Amazon's going to integrate support for XRP payments tomorrow, I'm pretty sure that that's not true, right? But it's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, it seems highly unlikely, but in the time someone says something like that, well, what happens is the one time it is true, and then there's that me saying that it was not true. So he's basically saying that if somebody says something can't happen, well, it might in the future. So he doesn't want to take it out of the possibilities. Like if they want to use XRP for payments for Walmart, for example, might not be today, tomorrow, next year, but maybe in 5 years, Walmart might be accepting cryptocurrency and XRP might be the transmitter token for that. Only time's going to tell. In my opinion, they would use probably XLM because it's more for the retail, XRPs for the banks. But he's kind of just putting it out there that saying that like things can happen, might not happen right away, might seem completely ridiculous. But who would have thought Amazon, who would have sold books out of a garage when Jeff Bezos founded it, turned into this massive place that you can get free same day or next day delivery for most purchases anywhere in the world, or anywhere in the United States at least. I know that they are worldwide though. So, James K. Filan posts that the SEC has filed its reply further support of its motion to compel. So, the SEC wants documents from Ripple for their 22 to 2023 financial records stating that, where did you guys sell the XRP token? Who'd you sell them to? And then Ripple ends up coming out and says, well, we don't want to give you guys this information. They file a thing for the judge. So unpacking the SEC's reply to Ripple says the SEC wants 3 things: the audit for financial statements for 2022 and 2023, all post-complaint contracts of XRP sales, and the XRP institutional sales proceeds received after the complaint. So if you guys want to, you guys can go ahead and read down more. I don't want to make this video any longer, but those are the big 3 things that they want. So they want the financial statements we just talked about, all post-complaint contracts. So if anyone complained about the XRP sales, if they're less or more than what they previously agreed upon, and then the XRP institutional sales proceeds received after the complaint. So Judge Annalisa Torres said that institutional sales were considered a security, but the XRP token in and of itself is not a security. So anything bought on the secondary market, not a security. But if that Ripple ended up selling the XRP token to its institutional partners, she deemed that a security. Ripple might try to appeal that once the case is officially over. We'll just have to see if there's going to be a settlement. But it's kind of interesting because Ripple has filed a motion to a SIR reply regarding the SEC's motion to compel. So in Ripple's reply, they basically said that everything that you guys want now is past when you guys originally filed the lawsuit. So you guys are trying to discover more information. We're already past the discovery phase in the court case. So if you guys want to, you guys have to actually file another lawsuit on our company for this to actually go through. You guys are just wasting our time, wasting taxpayer dollars by trying to get more information. And then also the biggest thing is hurting the XRP token holders, and then also Ripple itself as a company, because you're trying to find more stuff on them than what was originally filed in the lawsuit. So in my opinion, I do see that Judge Torres will completely deny the SEC's motion for this, just strictly on the fact that they filed the lawsuit previously and it did not include any of this. So they want everything past when the lawsuit was filed. And the last thing that we're going to be going over is Zach Rector posts this because a lot of people are spreading information and Ripple dumping tokens into the market. It says that Ripple only selling XRP to ODL clients since lawsuit in 2020. So how is Ripple dumping on us retail investors if we aren't the ones having to buy it from them? So we're not actually buying from Ripple itself. Okay. Ripple can sell to its ODL partners. If their ODL partners decide to sell into the market, they're not technically, Ripple's not dumping on us. Their ODL partners are. But eventually we're going to run out of tokens. There's only X amount of tokens that are on any type of cryptocurrency. Some have a max supply, which XRP does. And then some you can actually print new tokens. We saw this in the Terra Luna collapse. But he says, in my opinion, they are strategically distributing XRP in a way that is beneficial to the XRP ledger ecosystem while making a profit for doing so. Also, I would much rather have them getting XRP into the hands of institutions who have trillion-dollar problems to solve instead of Joe Blows like myself. And he basically is saying that, yeah, he's a Joe Blow. He's trying to pick up XRP tokens just like all of us, possibly in hopes that the XRP token does well, but I can send money wherever I want to in the world. Say I wanted to send $1 million of XRP to somebody else. I'm only going to have to pay 1 cent for the transaction, which is really great. I don't have to go through a big bank that's going to charge me anywhere from 3 to 10 to 12% to send that much money. Now, obviously, Zelle, and Venmo and stuff like that, you can send money instantaneously. You pay a small fee or you can wait X amount of days, but I can send the money wherever I want to in the world for less than a penny, and it's going to get there within 30 seconds, which is really crazy. Thank you guys for tuning into my video. I appreciate all of you guys. Make sure you guys tune into the next video, and if you guys can invest with the big dog, stay on the porch. Thank you guys, and have a good one.